Gustavo, thank you so much for joining us at the Storytelling by and for Adult session here on Monday, August 1st, 2022. We are really all over the world, right? I'm in South India, but I'm from New York City. Beverly is in New York State, and the other people are all over. Moira's in Germany. But you're one of the few people from South America who often join these sessions. I'm very grateful to you that you do. So please tell us about your work. I know you're a scholar, you're an activist, you're a theater worker. Tell us about your work, and then please tell us a story.
Okay, actually, I'm an anthropologist, a retired librarian, but now I work in Casa de la Literatura Peruana, which is a office that works with the Ministry of Education in Peru, and we are a group of senior storytellers that have been that work with the Casa de la Literatura volunteer. We work mostly in hospitals, everywhere that is public education, and that's what I do now. Well. This story I'm going to tell is actually, it's a story that the kind of story that I did usually to tell, because it's not exactly a folk story. It's a story that Rafo Diaz is a Peruvian who lives he lives now in Africa, in some country in Africa. I don't remember where. And he works works with Amazonian stories, and he has this book called 7 Mysteries of the Amazonas, Rafo Diaz, and this is the book where I tell, and the story is called the sinking of the old hamlet, the old town of Caballo, Cocha. You know, there was a strange fact, a strange thing occurred in the Amazonian some time ago that some of us can remember. It's not so long ago, but it's not so far ago also, not so near ago. So this small hamlet, there was on a cross river in Amazonian north of Peru, just sunk. It was sunk on the lake of the same name. Well, this hamlet, this place is on the midst of it's a frontier town in Peru, Colombia, and Brazil. And it's by a river and by a big lake. And some time ago, this small town was inhabited. It's a smuggling town. It's a smuggling town of cocaine that comes from from Peru, from many parts of Peru, and they group it there, and they take it out through the river, through plains everywhere around the world. The cocaine smuggling. So this town was full of criminals. There was these people who were criminals. They just lived there, and they all the time they drank liquor, and they had parties, and they went armed all the time, and they killed people. They killed people. Everybody. There were no authorities at all, and it was like the Wild West in a quotation way. So, well, the local people just stay there, but many people died until one day, Hortensio Ruralima's son, that was a man from a local man, died. And then the local people started to be very afraid, and they started to go out of the town. They started to go out of the town. And the fact was, Don Gumercindo Mananita was a man a head of a big family who lived on the other side of the lake. And one day he had a dream. And in this dream, the whole town, whole hamlet was sunk into the lake in a big with bubbles and foam. And when he got away, he got very, very afraid. He was very afraid, and he convinced his family. He told his family to prepare the things because they had to flee. They had to flee the town. He didn't live exactly in the town. He lived just like on another part of the lake. But he told them they had to flee immediately. So the still unconvinced family went to their little canoes and lanches, and they waited until dawn. When dawn came, they went to the launches and they started to drift away from the town. And they could hear the parties that were going on the town, because these parties, these people, criminals, have all the time parties, and they have liquor and much liquor, and they drank and they did many things, and they killed people, so they could still hear them. And they went as far when they had gone more or less far from the town, they started to hear a bubbling noise. It was like a pot of hot water that just bubbled up, and suddenly they saw that the town was sinking in a whirlpool of foam and eddies. See, they just saw that the town was sinking, and the lake covered it. Well, eventually, this man, Gumercindo, and his family, and the other people who had fled before, they founded the new town of Caballo, Cocha, the town that is now that is existent. This is a peaceful town now. This is a peaceful town that they live very, very well. Well, why? Let us reflect what happened here. Some say that the jungle mama, the Pachamama, the mother jungle curse brought these people to death. No, the fact is that when people now go on the lake and they row on the lake, they go very quietly when they are very near the center of the lake, because they are afraid to being pushed down in the water, because they are afraid of the spirits of the water. And the fact is also that if somebody goes to the lake and just can, peaceful lake, and you can put your ear on the lake, you can still hear the people feasting down there, feasting and having a good time, but just dead. And that's the story of the old Caballo Cocha and the new Caballo Cocha. Thank you.
Thank you. So again, let me review. Some people left the town.
Yes.
And were these the people who were in this business?
No.
Oh.
Gumercindo Juananita was a good man. He had a good family. He went from the town that they escaped.
They had to escape the people who were doing the bad business. But
yes.
But Mother Nature took those good people.
Mother Nature took the people that were in the town, that stayed in the town, the criminals.
Oh.
They all stayed in the town that they sunk.
I see. So some good people escaped.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, I haven't told many things about this story, because this story has, like, the thing about that I liked about this story that has it has a very long history of suffering, because this place had been a place where first it's a border town, it's a frontier. Frontiers are all the time like very interesting places where to happen stories. And this was where the rubber industry came in the 1860s, 70s. Rubber industry just grew up. But when in Singapore, in that place, they found out about rubber, they started they took rubber there, and I would say the richness of this zone just went down, and they were very poor. And then we had Colombia, and we had a war in that place also with Colombia. So it's a place of much suffering and much suffering and much things happen to people, and that's the place. That's why stories that can develop there in a natural way, and people can integrate the story. Because one last thing is that, for me at least, it's the place has been run, not run, but they were they were Catholic Church took over this town some 1930s, and they have done a good work there. And for me, this story has something of Noah and Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
And it's Noah. It's Noah with his family escaping. So I think that, but it's very well blended, I think, because it has like been, I don't know if this guy Rafo has created, or maybe he heard, but the thing is that I like it because it springs very well with the place, and the fact that the lakes, the lakes, drowned people live in Amazonian legends. Many people are drowned, they lived under the water. And then stories takes many things that can be in the mind of the people. That's what I liked about the story. And it's a very short story. I hope I tell
well,
them.
it's certainly it's a very you see this the story element in many stories, like you said, Noah and the Ark, where the divine or Mother Nature, however you want to call it, punishes wickedness. And even the study that I especially study here in South India, the epic of the ankle bracelet, the god of fire burns one city because of the people were, he burns it to purify it, but good people and animals can escape. So whether by fire or by water, it's I think it's an archetypal idea that the old and the wicked can be destroyed so that new life can grow.
True.
And as for the idea that the people are still at the bottom of the lake having their feast, that is your South American magical realism.
Yes, yes. Takes many times it happens there. Yes, that's true. Thank you for that idea. Thank you. I hope I had many, I just imagined, how can I tell it? And I just came out like that.
We like to believe that Mother Nature or the divine or the universe will reward the good and punish the bad.
True.
We like that. When I was doing field work many years ago with some tribal people here in South India, they took me on a walk in the forest, and there were two huge boulders, and they said, yes, that's where the wicked man was crushed. And it turned out there was a man he'd been making too much noise. He had not been respectful to nature, but he was hunting urumbu, hunting the big lizard. The lizard's almost as big as a human being. So he was chasing the urumbu, and the urumbu went between the two boulders. The man followed him, and the boulders came together and crushed him. So, I realize this means they feel that the spirit of justice in Mother Nature is in everything, even the rocks, even the stones. It's everywhere. Anybody? Any thoughts, comments, resonations, thoughts of any kind about the story? Sareka, yeah, I think you're on mute.
I was just saying that there are stories from Atlantis and Lemuria, which is the Greek, of these civilizations which just went off the face of the earth, and nobody knows why. They kind of crossed the gods.
They went down, and also Pumpuhar here in South India. The legend is they went down because they lost their morality. They went down as a punishment for losing morality.
Yeah.
Gustavo, I must say you have a great internet connection. Your voice and your picture is just crystal clear. I feel like I'm in the same room with you. Are you just using an ordinary laptop computer, or you have some special camera there?
I have a no, it's not a laptop. It's a big computer. And I have good camera. I have a camera that I don't know. It's a better one than the one I had.
Yeah, you have something special there. You don't have just an ordinary situation there. That's good.
I've worked on that very long time because I used to have a very small. Because the fact is, excuse me for most of the work we do now is in Zoom. So at least I like to do the best thing to communicate through the camera, me and everything that is best for the people who are observing that.
Yes, absolutely.
I care. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.